I say help is always worth reaching for, and I agree with that 100%. So here to help me with all of this is Wajahat Ali. He's a political commentator, the host of the Democracy-ish podcast, and the author of the Left Hook Substack that I appeared on today, causing some trouble that I'm sure will be written about in the right-wing world. Jennifer Welch is here. She's the host of the I've Had It podcast and the author of Life is a Lazy Susan of Shit Sandwiches, and a dear friend of the show. And they both have rubbed off on me because I've had a lot of potty mouth during this thing. But this stuff really pisses me off. So I'm going to bring both of you in. But Jen, I just want to, I invoked your name at the beginning of this because they said this stuff in private. And you and I always have, I remember when I first met you, you said, Don, I have these conversations with people in private and they think, the racist, that I'm going to co-sign this shit. And boy, don't they have another thing coming and you let them have it. Are you surprised by this story?
No, I'm not surprised. I am a white woman that has lived in white neighborhoods in a red state all of my life. And this is always there under the surface. And in white spaces, white people test the water to see what is acceptable in all white crowds, what they can get away with. And now that the right has done away with cancel culture, we're seeing this stuff incubate. And I understand that cancel culture can be over the top and petty and ridiculous. But when Donald Trump was canceled for all of his social media, for YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and when Nick Fuentes was canceled, those are good things. We cannot let this stuff incubate, because if you look at organizations where you have a lot of white people doing a lot of stuff without multiculturalism involved, particularly if it's a lot of white men. Look at the Catholic Church, look at the Boy Scouts. There's no moderating voices. It's not good for society. We are globalized now, whether they like it or not. And we have got to bring back shame. We need to bring back a little bit of cancel culture. I mean, there needs to be consequences for saying and doing these things.
Wajahat, all I'll say to you is, go. Are you surprised? We talked about this a little bit. It was just a mention, I think. Did we even talk about it on the Substack today?
We did. I think I told you that was, I think, breaking news. Racist gonna racist, folks. News at 11. The racists are gonna racist on Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day. Charlie Kirk was a racist. He was a bigot. The young Republican leaders are behaving just like their martyr and king Charlie Kirk, who said that the Civil Rights Act was a mistake, who said that Martin Luther King was a horrible person, who said that black people were better off during segregation, whose one of his last posts on Twitter was, Islam is the sword used by the left to slit the throat of America. That Charlie Kirk, who got the Presidential Medal of Honor today by Donald Trump, our commander in Cankled chief, who, by the way, with his neck vagina, if you saw on the Time magazine cover, his so-called ceasefire just blew up. This pathetic racist piece of shit is the model of king and daddy of these young Republicans. And I don't know about you, Don and Jen, I've been poor before. I lost everything in my 20s. When I had economic anxiety, I never, not even once, in private or in public, said, I love Hitler. I know about y'all, when I had economic anxiety, I didn't feel the sudden urge to all of a sudden start promoting anti-Semitic conspiracies and throwing my enemies in the gas chambers and using the N-word and calling gay people the F-word. That is what these people, these young leaders did repeatedly, not just once, Jen and Don, repeatedly. And they laughed at each other and they applauded each other. This is who they are. This is racism. White supremacy is the enduring sin of America. White supremacy and greed, racism and capitalism. And until it is tackled, until it is confronted, until it is purged, we will see the manifestation of white supremacy and greed in the form of Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Charlie Kirk, and these young leaders. And may I just say, maybe these young white conservative men need mental health. And if you are the master race and claim that you're the master race, work out. Have you seen some of the photos of these people? Work out and also wash your ass. Sorry. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Leaders of young Republican groups throughout the country worried what would happen if their Telegram chat ever got leaked, but they kept typing anyway. They referred to black people as monkeys and the watermelon people, and mused about putting their political opponents in gas chambers. They talked about raping their enemies and driving them to suicide, and lauded Republicans who they believed support slavery. One quote here that I'll give you. William Hendricks, again, this is the Politico's reporting, the Kansas Young Republicans vice chair. The words, nigga, I'm just going to say it, and nigga, with an A and then a UH, variations of a racial slur, more than a dozen times in the chat. Bobby Walker, the vice chair of the New York State Young Republicans at the time, referred to rape as epic. Peter Junta, who at the time was chair of the same organization, wrote in a message sent in June that everyone that, and I quote here, everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber. And then it actually devolved from there. Jen, you have children. Not all of these folks are children. I said in the beginning in my monologue, everyone says, I hear people all the time, well, this is going to end when young people get, older. They don't have the same sorts of things. We forget about the older people who are influencing them and teaching them.
Yeah. So I have a 22-year-old son and a 19-year-old son. And from a very young age, I mean, I made it abundantly clear to them, you can grow up to be anything you want to be, but by God, you are not going to be an asshole. You are not going to be a Republican. It's just not going to happen. And it was very simple to make that case, raising them in Oklahoma City, because Republicans in Oklahoma City are Christian nationalists. They are racist. They are sexist. They are homophobic. And it was simple when they would go to friends' houses and they would see the families, Republican families, and they would come back and they were like, Mom, you're right. It's different. And, I always would, when they would come back, because they're going out to these, friends' houses, and I know how racist a lot of these people are. I know it because they say racist shit to me. And I always stand up for it. And they don't say it around me as much anymore, especially with my elevated stature with the podcast and stuff. But back before I was a public figure, I remember, I told you this story, Dawn, but I'll share it with the group. I remember after Obama won, I was so proud. I worked on his campaign. I had Obama signs. I got like 10 people on my street in red Oklahoma City to put Obama signs up. And this girl came over, she's all liquored up, and she goes, yeah, it's hilarious. Now we're calling Air Force One Afro One. And I said, what did you just fucking say to me? This is a grown woman. And she got well, no, I'm not racist. And I'm like, you know what I don't have to say? I don't have to say I'm not racist because I don't say shit like that. It's like a gay guy that's, around on Grindr. And then after he hooks up with somebody saying, hey, I'm not gay. It's like, if you have to say you're not racist, you're a fucking racist, period. And
if you have to say I'm not gay, you're gay.
100%. You're gay. You're eating ass. You're doing gay shit at night. Everybody knows it. Moses Mike Johnson, JD Vance. But I digress. But this stuff, these conversations, when you look at what has been incubated online, look at what the president of the United States did. He brings over Andrew Tate. Yep. The moral collapse is on full display. And so this does not surprise me. This is what MAGA is incubating. This is what these kids are finding online. And a part of me, when it comes to this shit, cancel them. Bring back a part of cancel culture. People need to feel shame for this. This is disgraceful. This is sociopathic. They are raising little sociopathic twats. These parents should feel like abject failures. If my sons ever did anything like that, I would crawl up their fucking ass. You wouldn't even believe how much I would crawl up their ass if they ever engaged in anything like this. This is just disgraceful.
I said that Donald Trump was the imprimatur. He has emboldened racists and for people to just say the most horrible things and to behave in the most horrible ways. This is Donald Trump demonizing migrants and undocumented people. It's long. I won't play all of it, but here you go.
Americans have watched their communities destroyed by this sudden, suffocating inundation of illegal aliens. I said, if you let them in, it's going to be hell. They are vicious, violent criminals. These are stone-cold killers. They'll walk into your kitchen, they'll cut your throat. These are people at the highest level of killing. They'd cut your throat, and they won't even think about it the next morning. These people are roaming our country. They could go into a restaurant, they can do whatever they want, and they will kill you because they are wired that way. These people are animals. Now they'll say, oh, that's a terrible thing for him to say. No. These people are animals.
It's in their genes.
and we got a lot of bad genes in our country
All right,
right
you
now.
guys get the point. You get the point. Wajahat, he's made racism and bigotry fashionable among the right.
Yeah, the hoods are off. I've been saying that for a couple of years, and they learn from their king and daddy. And not only do they learn from their king and daddy, Donald Trump, they realize, oh, it's a winning strategy. The more cruel you are, the more misogynist you are, the more xenophobic you are, the more Islamophobic you are, the more anti-black you are, you will be rewarded by the Republican Party. Not only will you be rewarded, you might actually become president. You might incite a violent insurrection. You can pal around with a pedophile and a rapist. You can sexually assault E. Jean Carroll. You can defame her, and all is well. You can mock Puerto Ricans and Muslims and black people and just get away with it and say it's a joke. Stop being politically incorrect. And this is who the young Republican leaders are. Folks, I'm very radical when it comes to forgiveness, right? Yes, they're young, but these aren't just young boys and girls. I got kids too. My kids are young. My kids are ages 5, 9, and 11. My kids do not behave this way. They're empathetic. They're sensitive. If God forbid, inshallah it won't happen because they're raised right and they wash their ass. But if my kids ever said anything like this, you better believe, folks, all hell. I would unleash hell on them, right? If they ever behave like this. They got friends who are white, brown, immigrants, black friends, right? They do not behave like this. There is a reward structure within the Republican Party that rewards this type of vulgarity. Again, folks, I want to remind you that this report got leaked today on Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day, the man that they worship as some sort of martyr, a saint, the hagiography of Charlie Kirk. Just quote his actual words, Don. We talked about it earlier today on our show. Just use his own clips, what he said about black people, women, transgender people, Latinos. He celebrated violence, right? David DePape, the Trump supporter who almost killed Paul Pelosi. You know what Charlie Kirk told his followers? Pay his bail. He was all in for the January 6th insurrection. And if they really want to honor Charlie Kirk, you know what they would do? Release the Epstein files. Because that's what Charlie Kirk said before he died, release the Epstein files. But I just want you all to know that this is not an aberration. This is the norm. And to Jen's point, and I think this is an important point, there's no rule that says you have to platform a Nazi. There's no rule that says you have to give a microphone to a grand wizard of the KKK. We can mock them, ridicule them, and deny them the establishment mainstream spaces they so desperately covet, which is why I think all of us are independent. We don't both sides genocide. We don't both sides fascism, and we don't have to both sides racism. If they want to come on our show, we platform them. You ask them follow-up questions, and you say, why are you perfectly fine saying I love Hitler? And what makes you and your racism qualified to be a young Republican leader? And the answer is because we represent the Republican Party and their hate and racism. That's where I think we should be, folks. We need to call it out, Don. Call them racist. Hit dogs holler. They hate being called racist. Call them racist to their face. Tweet it out right now.
You're muted, Don.
I had my little Poochie barking in the background because he's hungry. And I'm not talking about Tim. I'm talking about the dogs. So
the racism made the dogs holler.
You said a hit dog will holler, so I had to mute
your
it.
dog's racist?
No,
he's anti-racist. It's the anti-racist dog.
No, my dogs are anti-racist. I have
Good.
my
Mine
dogs
are
are
too.
mixed race. I have a white one and a black one, and then one who's kind of gray. Anyways, so where am I? Where was I going? Oh, so listen, we should not be surprised by this because we saw it happening before the election. This was just one of the rallies for one of the comedians and broadcasters and manosphere folks who are all kissing Donald Trump's butt and helping to usher him into the Oval Office. And they were saying shit like this. Here it is.
Hinchcliffe?
These Latinos, They love making babies too. Just know that. They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah.
Puerto Rico.
I think it's called Puerto Rico. That's a cool black guy with a thing on his head. What the hell is that? A lampshade? I'm just kidding. That's one of my buddies. He had a Halloween party last night. We had fun. We carved watermelons together. It was awesome.
She is some sick Hillary Clinton, huh? What a sick son of a. The whole party, a bunch of degenerates.
She is the devil, whoever screamed that out. She is the Antichrist. It's going to be pretty hard to look at us and say, you know what? Kamala Harris, she got 85 million votes because she's just so impressive. As the first Samoan, Malaysian, low IQ, former California prosecutor ever to be elected president.
Okay, here's the
After
thing.
those,
I don't want to hear, that's good. I don't want to hear anybody ever call me a race baiter or a racist again. I've never said some shit like that. And they think it's okay. They said it. They said the loud part out loud, Jen, and with impunity because he won.
Yeah. So what's so devastating about all of this is the whole country saw this, and you had 77 million people who are celebrating the villain. They're celebrating this type of behavior. And I remember a moment in 2015 during the primary season. And I'm an interior designer when I'm not a podcaster. And I was with one of my clients. She's very wealthy. And Republicans back in 2015 at the end of Obama era, they would say stuff like, oh, well, we voted for a gay candidate. We voted for an independent. And we voted for this brown candidate. They were trying to be centrist. And it was during the primary, the debate, where Trump was like, Lil Marco, Lion Ted, which I kind of enjoyed a little bit of that because he was calling them all out. And I said, you're not going to vote for Trump, are you? To my wealthy Republican client. And she said, oh, God, no, he's so trashy. But then she said, but I'll tell you what, he says what everybody's thinking. And I'll never forget that moment. I'll never forget it. And I thought, they are all still so fucking mad that a black man ate off the china in the White House. And now they're liberated. All of these broadcasters can say the R word. They can say pussy. They can call a gay man the F word. And they are making racism the status quo again. And back in the day, Dawn, I was raised in the 80s, and I would have gone, my parents super progressive. And there was this time when I was growing up where I would have gone out of my way if somebody said, so tell me about Don Lemon. I'd be like, oh, he's a journalist and he's really cute. And I would have gone out of my way not to say you're black, because there was this effort among white people to try to not be racist. And it was this whole, we don't see color thing. That's why the Black Lives Matter thing was so refreshing, because now I can say, oh, my friend Don Lemon, he's a black man, he's a gay man. You can see their color, you can see their skin, and appreciate that your journey was more difficult than my husband, Josh, who's a white guy, raised in a white culture. But I'll just never forget when she said, he says what everybody thinks. And this man has moved people. Peer pressure can keep these Republicans, and I know these people well because I grew up around them. Peer pressure and cancel culture can make them feel shame and can make their conscience kind of be alive. So when this gets mainstreamed like this, they feel liberated and they break to their worst impulses. When they're shamed, then they're like, oh yeah, maybe. I'm just saying, I think people are malleable with this stuff as we grow and as we evolve. And this being streamlined, the way that Nazi rally that they did at Madison Square Garden, I remember when that happened, I just thought, I cannot believe that people are celebrating this. What a million steps backwards, because they're so fucking mad that this great black man was president.
Do you remember the question that you asked me on the hit that we did today, Wajahat? You asked me, who can fix this? I think you said, how can we fix this problem? We were talking about white men and political violence and such. And so, Jen, I want to ask you the same question, because he asked me the question. I didn't say this, and I think it was, I think it's important to point out, I believe that it's white people. I believe it's folks like you, Jen, who other white people will listen to, right? Because they're not going to listen to me, I don't think, because they'll say, oh, he's just a race baiter. Of course he'll say that, but he's black. But I think it's up to our leaders who are white to try to talk to these people and call them out and talk some sense into their heads. Do you think I'm wrong about that, Jen?
No, I think you're 100% right. I think the fact that Mayan Pump's podcast is so great and it's so novel is really sad. I think I'm grateful for our success, but I think it's really sad that people are like, oh shit, these white women, they look so fox coded, but they're liberal. Where
Mhm.
were they January 6th? Oh shit, they're really in the tank for us, and that it's such a surprise to people. But I will tell you this, I have people all over the place that come to me and they say, thank you for saying what you're saying. I agree with you. Or I'll see younger Gen Z millennials that say, I sent my mother your podcast and she's changing and she's evolving. And so credible messengers, whether it's fair or not, is just where we are.
Yep.
And sadly, for a lot of white people in America, they only see other white people as credible messengers, as thought leaders on this. And I don't like that. I personally do not like that. But it takes what it takes to bend the arc of the moral universe towards justice and equality. And it's just a hill I will die on, because I grew up around this type of thing. Now, when you live in a purple city, you find the liberals. And when you're a liberal in a red state, you have to really fight hard for it. And they're some of the toughest fighters in the country. But that's why Pumps and I have a platform, is because just like that woman told me, Trump says what everybody's thinking, a lot of people, white people, are hearing what Pumps and I say, and we're saying what they're thinking. And they see the injustice and they see the people kidnapped off the streets. And I believe that we are the majority, Don. I believe that the majority of Americans are mortified by this. I truly do.
I want both
Don,
of you to listen to this. I want you, I'm gonna let you weigh in. I really am. I'm gonna let you finish, Taylor.
No, I just want to respond to what Jen was saying.
Okay.
But continue, please.
No, I wanted to, you can respond to Jen. I think this will help you out. Okay. So this is, we talked about this a bit earlier, Wajahat, but I want Jen to see this, because this man said, I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of people telling me how I need to react, how I need to mourn, how I need to do all of these things when these people are just racist. And I ran into him in Chicago. He was at a protest. He said, Don, you don't want this heat. And I said, yeah, I want to hear. And then here he is.
I say what I want to say. I got a freedom of speech regardless of what Donald Trump thinks. I can say the fuck I want to say.
What do you want to say to Donald Trump?
Fuck Donald Trump. Die from natural causes. Pam Bundy an idiot. Christy Nome ugly. Fuck Donald Trump. Get the fuck out of our city. Basically, quit racial profiling people, and I just hate all this shit. I hate them.
Why is it pissing you off so much?
Because they racist. I know deep down it's all like some racist shit. You see the shit all over the news and all over the TV, seeing this dumbass shit they saying that day and all this dumbass shit they doing and shit. Once I rolled past here and saw people protest the shit, I don't know. I just want to be heard. They just some fucking idiots, man. I don't know. There ain't really no other way to put it. They racist. And they don't like me and I don't like them. And, they got a problem with a motherfucker like me, but they love Charlie Kirk. Like, what the fuck? Charlie Kirk's a piece of shit. I don't get no fuck. I got a job, too. I don't get no fuck. Dox me. You better not pull up where I be at. Charlie Kirk running around saying stupid ass, racist ass shit, all type of dumb ass shit. They call him a patriot and he was a piece of shit. He was a racist. So if he see a black pilot, he wonder is he qualified. He a piece of shit, bro. Like, he the one said that a couple gun deaths is okay for the Second Amendment. He said that shit. Then when he get shot, we all supposed to cry. He was talking shit the minute the bullet hit his neck. He's still talking shit. His stupid ass wife still out here being racist and trying to throw Super Bowl shows. They dumb as hell in Bad Bunny, Puerto Rican. They don't even know he American. They just racist. Like, they just see, oh, he's brown. He's just racist, bro. So fuck all of them.
Go ahead, Wajahat. You have the floor.
Tying it all together, all people of color need to channel that man's energy, keep it real, give 0 F, stop playing a rigged game. White supremacy has always been a rigged game. When it comes to people of color, we always have to prove our civilizational worth, our civilizational capacity, prove that you're intellectually superior, prove that you have a culture. And as Toni Morrison said, at the end of the day, it's a distraction. I'm done playing this game. I'm done with Lucy lifting up the football and me being Charlie Brown falling on my ass. Enough. Call it out for what it's worth. Call them racist. Call them trash, because that's what they are. Call out their cankled commander-in-chief who's aging despot with a neck vagina. Mock them, ridicule them, make fun of Stephen Miller. He hates being called 4'10" mini Himmler, mini Goebbels. Bring the receipts. And now you got the receipts. You got their own Telegram chats, right? And all people of color need to just stop. We have too much to do. We have to live whatever is left of our lives with joy. We have to move forward. We have to work together to restore this country that white supremacy has destroyed. We have to save this country with allies like Jen. And when it comes to white women, I will say this the first time I'm talking to Jen. Jen and Pumps have emerged as people of color's favorite white women. As the ambassador of all people of color on this show, let me say thank you, Jen and Pumps. We listen to them and we're like, I don't know who these white women are, but these people are dope. Can they spread some of this white energy to all the Kool-Aid that suburban whites are drinking? Because in all seriousness, what Jen said is absolutely correct. Don, you and I talked about this earlier. White lives matter more in this country. White tears matter more in this country. White blood matters more in this country. White rage is listened to. Black and brown people, can you imagine if black and brown folks marched 1,600 of us to the White House on January 6th? There would be chalk outlines of our bodies. So when white women, especially people like Jen and Pumps, who are very gifted, and they come with that righteous rage and they hold feet of the fire to Cory Booker, great interview, Jen, today. I just reshared it. Or Rahm Emanuel, they call out the genocide, they call out fascism, they call out racism. Other white folks listen to them. And they're like, if Jen's saying this, who looks like me, there must be a problem. So this is what we need with our white allies. You need to amplify, and you need to check your white women and white sons and young white daughters and bring them in and say, this is not right. There is a better way forward. And you'll always see us, especially black women, black folks, people of color, will be there as allies, and our dogs and my 3 cats. Because folks, I'll tell you this, we ain't going back. You made a mistake, white folks, by letting us in, white racists. We ain't going back. White supremacy is ultimately dumb and self-destructive. We're witnessing the death march of white supremacy. But I agree with Jen. There is a majority. 45% of white women did the right thing. And now you're seeing a lot of folks, Latinos, young people saying, I didn't vote for this shit. I didn't vote to see kids being zip-tied in Chicago. I didn't vote to see the price of beef at skyrocket levels. I wanted the release of the Epstein files. Enough with this shit. Let's move forward together. So that is my TED Talk, and that is my rant.
My black dog came over and wanted to get in my lap when you were talking. So my black dog agrees. Wajahat, Jen, thank you. Are you guys done? Jen, I know you have to go, and Wajahat, I think you have to run.
Wajahat, thank you. It was so nice to meet you. Thank you for what you said, Don. I love you.
I love you. We'll talk soon.
Thanks,
okay, bye,
thanks everyone. Take care, everyone.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, chat.
Bye, chat. Hey, Boomer, do you agree? They were great, right? They were great. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.